It's not always that you start a day feeling kind of like it's whatever, but over time, that day becomes better gradually. Whether it is from an action that you have caused yourself or someone else has done for you. And today, that action was caused by someone else. His name being Iechiro Oda. He released a new chapter of One Piece. And, it was translated, obviously, because a lot of people like his work. But on this very special occasion, not only did Iechiro Oda get his work translated, but the work that was translated was beyond spectacular. Some would even consider it peak fiction. And I'm here to say that, yes, this is peak fiction. This chapter that just came out is what happens when an author just goes off on their story, like they've been building up continuously. They've been putting in that work, spending that time to make their story what it is. And then they just use it at the perfect time, and then as soon as that happens, you get the current story. And it's nothing but greatness. And that's kind of what this chapter is. Well, it's not necessarily an all-around great chapter, but it is an all-around good chapter. And at the very end, it is pretty much what we've come to expect at this point, with this current arc, Egghead still being the best arc post time skip. And I think it's just gonna stay that way. I don't think there's no way you can just throw it at this point. It's gonna be the king of post time skip, and Wano lovers are just gonna have to, deal with that, I guess. That Egghead exists, and it's superior in every way to the previous arcs in post time skip. Even most of the arcs in pre time skip. There's only like 2 arcs right now that I would rank higher than Egghead. One of them is Water 7, a classic One Piece arc, and Marineford, the greatest One Piece arc of all time. So yeah, it's kind of standing in contention with those. Compared to post time skip, the greatest post time skip arc, obviously Whole Cake Island. I think it's better than that by like a pretty good amount. Although Whole Cake still has its strong points. I just think this one has way more stronger points, way more consistent points. That, yeah, it's made the intro so long. And yeah, I'm just gonna cut it here, and I'll continue with the review here. Chapter 1076 of One Piece. What a good chapter. What a really good chapter, honestly. Straight from the get-go, we get an interaction from Lucci and the Straw Hats. Well, Lucci, Kaku, Zoro, and Luffy, the 4 that are there. And obviously it's continuing from the end of the last chapter, where they were discussing if they should get freed, and it was going to be obvious they were going to free them, but it was nice seeing these like interactions with them, because they haven't really spoken to each other in such a long time. Even in that fight they had, it was more of like Luffy beats Lucci, or versus Zoro, Stussy beats Kaku. They didn't really get to interact, so seeing them talk here was nice. It was very much appreciated. Although Luffy says a really funny line, his reaction is always the most innocent thing, where he's like, "Oh yeah, we can trust him right away." Like that's always his reaction. Like I still remember that moment in Punk Hazard where he asks Law, he's like, "Are you gonna betray me?" And he's like, "No." He's all happy and everything. That's such a good scene. But it just reminded me of that, and it's really cool seeing that again. And honestly, even more so than beforehand, Luffy can actually back this up, because who wants to deal with an emperor? Who would betray an emperor, honestly? You're basically signing yourself a death sentence, if I'm being honest. So yeah, Luffy, he trusts them, but he says one of the coldest lines he's said in a hot minute, to be honest. He's like, "Yeah, as soon as we beat these 4 people here, you guys won't try to go after me and my friends, right? Because I'm gonna just beat you up." And it's Luffy's just, he pulled out a line from Kendrick. He's like, "Sit down, be humble." That's what he literally told Lucci and Kaku, that they need to humble themselves. Holy jeez. And then after that, we get a really cool panel with both Luffy and Lucci punching Kuma. And of course it's epic. Of course it's epic. Obviously it's gonna be cool seeing 2 opponents from pre-time skip going up against a common enemy, the Seraphim. And obviously there's also Zoro and Kaku, but that wasn't as, in my opinion, even though it is a rivalry, it's not the best rivalry that Zoro had pre-time skip, at least. That was obviously Mihawk. But seeing this, it's just, whew. Yeah, that was really cold. I'm not gonna lie. Even like Luffy apologizes to Bonnie. He's like, "We're gonna screw up your dad. Sorry, Bonnie." uh, damn. And then right after this epic panel, it just cuts to greatness. Like, there's not a single slow moment in this entire arc. It's just pure gas, pure fire. We go from that epic scene to, okay, I'm gonna just say Shanks. We see Shanks again. Come on. We just saw Shanks at the end of Wano, and now we're seeing him again. It's too much to handle. It's just too much to handle. And, you know, seeing Shanks is fine, but Shanks usually only appears when he has a purpose, and this time he's fighting Kid! I don't know what to say. It's just, Oda is cooking. He's just always cooking with this. Every single new chapter, we've seen two of the people that were with Luffy now, going up against emperors themselves. Law versus Blackbeard, and now Kid versus Shanks. You'd kind of expect for Luffy to go up against an emperor, but obviously not. I think that's a little bit more saved. I think what Luffy's actually going to go up against, which probably makes the most sense, is well, they kind of hinted to it, and I know I'm kind of going back from Shanks and that, but I think Luffy's going to go up against not an emperor, but the world's smartest man, Vegapunk. I'm gonna have to stop it right here, because while I was editing this video, I realized that I had actually skipped an entire page, that being Vegapunk being chained down, which is some pretty vital information, and I didn't have that before I made this next part, so I was basically wrong this entire time, and I didn't know that. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. And I would also say that with this new information in the context of this chapter, it does actually make the chapter better, because it adds a lot more intensity to these next parts, I guess. And it adds even more mystery in that sense. So yeah, basically, I was wrong, and you're about to hear some bullcrap. And Vegapunk, obviously. This chapter made it clear as day that, yes, he's gonna go up against Vegapunk. It's obvious because he's literally right there. It shows a shadow, but it's literally him. There's no mistaking. So yeah, Luffy's gonna fight the world's smartest man, Shanks is gonna fight Kid, and Law's gonna fight Blackbeard. Yeah, that's just... this is greatness. Oda planned for this, and Oda delivered. Yeah, that's basically about all I have to say. I could gush out more about the fact that Shanks is fighting Kid, or the fact that we see Dory and Baragi again after not seeing them for like, I don't know, 500 chapters. All you have to know is that Oda is the GOAT, and he's gonna deliver. He always delivers. You know, in crunch time, Oda is the GOAT. He's gonna hit the buzzer beater. Everything that you would relate with a great player or a great musician, great artist, any of that. Oda's just doing it right now. And yeah, single-handedly just creating a masterpiece. I mean, yeah, he already was, but he's just continuing. It's kind of insane to think about. So yeah, I'm sorry I don't have any hype reactions, because this is like the most hype I can be without screaming. So yeah, this is me being super hyped, because I'm just left speechless that I can't express it. So yeah, this chapter, peak / fiction. That's basically it. There's no... If you get a lower rating than this, then they obviously didn't read the chapter, or they haven't been reading One Piece, one of the two. So yeah, the GOAT. That's all for this video. And make sure to read One Piece, because yeah, Oda is the GOAT. And goodbye.